Book 54, Beginning of Creation. Narrated Imran bin Hussein. Some people of Bani Tamim came to the Prophet and he said to them, O Bani Tamim, rejoice with glad tidings. They said, you have given us glad tidings, now give us something. On hearing that, the color of his face changed. Then the people of Yemen came to him and he said, O people of Yemen, accept the good tidings, as Bani Tamim has refused them. The Yemenites said, we accept them. Then the Prophet started talking about the beginning of creation and about Allah's throne. In the meantime a man came saying, O Imran, your she-camel has run away. I got up and went away, but I wish I had not left that place, for I miss what Allah's apostle had said. Narrated Imran bin Hussein, I went to the Prophet and tied my she-camel at the gate. The people of Bani Tamim came to the Prophet who said, O Bani Tamim, accept the good tidings. They said twice, you have given us the good tidings, now give us something. Then some Yemenites came to him and he said, accept the good tidings, O people of Yemen, for Bani Tamim refused them. They said, we accept it, O Allah's apostle. We have come to ask you about this matter, that is the start of creations. He said, first of all, there was nothing but Allah, and then he created his throne. His throne was over the water, and he wrote everything in the book, in the heaven, and created the heavens and the earth. Then a man shouted, O Ibn Hussein, your she-camel has gone away. So, I went away and could not see the she-camel because of the mirage. By Allah, I wished I had left that she-camel, but not that gathering. Narrated Ammar. One day the Prophet stood up amongst us for a long period and informed us about the beginning of creation, and talked about everything in detail, till he mentioned how the people of paradise will enter their places and the people of hell will enter their places. Some remembered what he had said, and some forgot it. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, Allah the most superior said, the son of Adam slights me, and he should not slight me, and he disbelieves in me, and he ought not to do so. As for his slighting me, it is that he says that I have a son, and his disbelief in me is his statement that I shall not recreate him as I have created him before. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, when Allah completed the creation, he wrote in his book which is with him on his throne, my mercy overpowers my anger. Narrated Muhammad bin Ibrahim bin al-Harith, from Abu Salama bin Abdurrahman, who had a dispute with some people on a piece of land, and so he went to Aisha and told her about it. She said, O Abu Salama, avoid the land, for Allah's apostle said, any person who takes even a span of land unjustly, his neck shall be encircled with it down 7 earths. Narrated Salim's father, the Prophet said, any person who takes a piece of land unjustly will sink down the 7 earths on the day of resurrection. Narrated Abu Bakr, the Prophet said, the division of time has turned to its original form which was current when Allah created the heavens and the earths. The year is of 12 months, out of which 4 months are sacred, 3 are in succession Dhul Qada, Dhul Hijjah and Muharram, and the 4th is Rajab, the tribe of Muda, which comes between Jumada Thaniya and Shaban. Narrated said bin Zayd bin bin Nufail, that Arwa sued him before Marwan for a right, which he claimed he had deprived her of. On that said, how should I deprive her of her right? I testify that I heard Allah's apostle saying, if anyone takes a span of land unjustly, his neck will be encircled with it down 7 earths on the day of resurrection. Narrated Abu Dar, the Prophet asked me at sunset, do you know where the sun goes, at the time of sunset? I replied, Allah and his apostle know better. He said, it goes, that is travels, till it prostrates itself underneath the throne and takes the permission to rise again, and it is permitted, and then, a time will come when, it will be about to prostrate itself but its prostration will not be accepted, and it will ask permission to go on its course but it will not be permitted, but it will be ordered to return whence it has come, and so it will rise in the west. And that is the interpretation of the statement of Allah, and the sun runs its fixed course for a term, decreed. That is the decree of Allah, the exalted in might, the all-knowing. 36.38 Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, the sun and the moon will be folded up, deprived of their light, on the day of resurrection. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, the Prophet said, the sun and the moon do not eclipse because of someone's death or wife, that is birth, but they are two signs amongst the signs of Allah. So, if you see them, that is eclipse, offer the prayer of eclipse. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas, the Prophet said, the sun and the moon are two signs amongst the signs of Allah. They do not eclipse because of someone's death or life. So, if you see them, that is eclipse, celebrate the praises of Allah, that is pray. Narrated Aisha, on the day of a solar eclipse, Allah's apostle stood up, to offer the eclipse prayer. He recited takbir, recited a long recitation, of holy verses, bowed a long bowing, and then he raised his head saying, Allah hears him who sends his praises to him. Then he stayed standing, recited a long recitation again, but shorter than the former, bowed a long bowing, but shorter than the first, performed a long prostration and then performed the second rak'ah in the same way as he had done the first. By the time he had finished his prayer with taslim, the solar eclipse had been over. Then he addressed the people referring to the solar and lunar eclipses saying, these are two signs amongst the signs of Allah, and they do not eclipse because of anyone's death or life. So, if you see them, hasten for the prayer. Narrated Abu Mas'ud, the Prophet said, the sun and the moon do not eclipse because of the death or life of someone, but they are two signs amongst the signs of Allah. So, if you see them, offer the prayer of eclipse. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, I have been made victorious with the Sabah, that is easterly wind, and the people of Ad were destroyed with the Dabur, that is westerly wind. Narrated Aisha said if the Prophet saw a cloud in the sky, he would walk to and fro in agitation, go out and come in, and the color of his face would change, and if it rained, he would feel relaxed. So Aisha knew that state of his. So the Prophet said, I don't know, I'm afraid, it may be similar to what happened to some people referred to in the Holy Quran in the following verse, then when they saw it as a dense cloud coming towards their valleys, they said, this is a cloud bringing us rain. Nay, but, it is that torment, which you were asking to be hastened, a wind wherein is severe torment. 46.24 Narrated Malik bin Saza, the Prophet said, while I was at the house in a state midway between sleep and wakefulness, an angel recognized me, as the man lying between two men. A golden tray full of wisdom and belief was brought to me and my body was cut open from the throat to the lower part of the abdomen and then my abdomen was washed with Zamzam water and my heart was filled with wisdom and belief. Al-Barak, a white animal, smaller than a mule and bigger than a donkey was brought to me and I set out with Gabriel. When I reached the nearest heaven, Gabriel said to the heaven gatekeeper, open the gate. The gatekeeper asked, who is it? He said, Gabriel. The gatekeeper, who is accompanying you? Gabriel said, Muhammad. The gatekeeper said, has he been called? Gabriel said, yes. Then it was said, he is welcomed. What a wonderful visit his is. Then I met Adam and greeted him and he said, you are welcomed O son and a prophet. Then we ascended to the second heaven. It was asked, who is it? Gabriel said, Gabriel. It was said, who is with you? He said, Muhammad. It was asked, has he been sent for? He said, yes. It was said, he is welcomed. What a wonderful visit his is. Then I met Jesus and Yahya, John, who said, you are welcomed, O brother and a prophet. Then we ascended to the third heaven. It was asked, who is it? Gabriel said, Gabriel. It was asked, who is with you? Gabriel said, Muhammad. It was asked, has he been sent for? Yes, said Gabriel. He is welcomed. What a wonderful visit his is. The Prophet added, there I met Joseph and greeted him, and he replied, you are welcomed, O brother and a prophet. Then we ascended to the fourth heaven and again the same questions and answers were exchanged as in the previous heavens. There I met Idris and greeted him. He said, you are welcomed O brother and prophet. Then we ascended to the fifth heaven and again the same questions and answers were exchanged as in previous heavens. There I met and greeted Aaron, who said, "You are welcomed, O brother and a prophet." Then we ascended to the sixth heaven, and again the same questions and answers were exchanged as in the previous heavens. There I met and greeted Moses, who said, "You are welcomed, O brother and a prophet." When I proceeded on, he started weeping, and on being asked why he was weeping, he said, "O Lord, followers of this youth who was sent after me will enter paradise in greater number than my followers." Then we ascended to the seventh heaven, and again the same questions and answers were exchanged as in the previous heavens. There I met and greeted Abraham, who said, "You are welcomed, O son and a prophet." Then I was shown Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, that is Allah's house. I asked Gabriel about it, and he said, "This is Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, where 70,000 angels perform prayers daily, and when they leave they never return to it, but always a fresh batch comes into it daily." Then I was shown Sidrat al-Muntaha, that is a tree in the seventh heaven, and I saw its nabk fruits which resembled the clay jugs of Hajr, that is a town in Arabia, and its leaves were like the ears of elephants, and 4 rivers originated at its root, 2 of them were apparent and 2 were hidden. I asked Gabriel about those rivers, and he said, "The 2 hidden rivers are in paradise, and the apparent ones are the Nile and the Euphrates." Then 50 prayers were enjoined on me. I descended till I met Moses, who asked me, "What have you done?" I said, 50 prayers have been enjoined on me." He said, "I know the people better than you, because I had the hardest experience to bring Bani Israel to obedience. Your followers cannot put up with such obligation. So, return to your Lord and request him to reduce the number of prayers." I returned and requested Allah for reduction, and he made it 40. I returned and met Moses, and had a similar discussion, and then returned again to Allah for reduction, and he made it 30, then 20, then 10, and then I came to Moses, who repeated the same advice. Ultimately Allah reduced it to 5. When I came to Moses again, he said, "What have you done?" I said, "Allah has made it 5 only." He repeated the same advice, but I said that I surrendered to Allah's final order. Allah's apostle was addressed by Allah, "I have decreed my obligation and have reduced the burden on my slaves, and I shall reward a single good deed as if it were 10 good deeds." Narrated Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Allah's apostle, the true and truly inspired, said, "The matter of the creation of a human being is put together in the womb of the mother in 40 days, and then he becomes a clot of thick blood for a similar period, and then a piece of flesh for a similar period. Then Allah sends an angel who is ordered to write 4 things. He is ordered to write down his, that is the new creature's, deeds, his livelihood, his date of death, and whether he will be blessed or wretched, in religion. Then the soul is breathed into him. So, a man amongst you may do good deeds till there is only a cubit between him and paradise, and then what has been written for him decides his behavior, and he starts doing evil deeds characteristic of the people of the Hellfire. And similarly a man amongst you may do evil deeds till there is only a cubit between him and their Hellfire, and then what has been written for him decides his behavior, and he starts doing deeds characteristic of the people of paradise." Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, "If Allah loves a person, he calls Gabriel saying, 'Allah loves so-and-so, O Gabriel. Love him.' Gabriel would love him and make an announcement amongst the inhabitants of the heaven. 'Allah loves so-and-so, therefore you should love him also,' and so all the inhabitants of the heaven would love him, and then he is granted the pleasure of the people on the earth." Narrated Aisha, "I heard Allah's apostle saying, 'The angels descend the clouds and mention this or that matter decreed in the heaven. The devils listen stealthily to such a matter, come down to inspire the soothsayers with it, and the latter would add to it 100 lies of their own." Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, "On every Friday the angels take a stand at every gate of the mosques to write the names of the people chronologically, that is according to the time of their arrival for the Friday prayer, and when the Imam sits on the pulpit, they fold up their scrolls and get ready to listen to the sermon." Narrated Said bin al-Musayyab, Ammar came to the mosque while Hussein was reciting a poem. Ammar disapproved of that. On that Hussein said, I used to recite poetry in this very mosque in the presence of one, that is the Prophet, who was better than you. Then he turned towards Abu Hurairah and said to him, I ask you by Allah, did you hear Allah's apostle saying to me, retort on my behalf? O Allah, support him, that is Hassan, with the Holy Spirit. Abu Hurairah said, yes. Narrated Al-Bara, the Prophet said to Hassan, lampoon them, that is the pagans, and Gabriel is with you. Narrated Jarir, as below, Hadith 437. Narrated Humayd bin Hul, Anas bin Malik said, as if I say a cloud of dust swirling up in the lane of Bani Ghanim. Musa added, that it was caused by the procession of Gabriel. Narrated Aisha, Al-Harith bin Hisham asked the Prophet, how does the divine inspiration come to you? He replied, in all these ways. The angel sometimes comes to me with a voice which resembles the sound of a ringing bell, and when this state abandons me, I remember what the angel has said, and this type of divine inspiration is the hardest on me, and sometimes the angel comes to me in the shape of a man and talks to me, and I understand and remember what he says. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard the Prophet saying, whoever spends a couple of objects in Allah's cause will be called by the gatekeepers of paradise who will say, O so-and-so, come on. Abu Bakr said, such a person will never perish or be miserable. The Prophet said, I hope you will be among such person. Narrated Abu Salama, Aisha said that the Prophet said to her, O Aisha, this is Gabriel and he sends his greetings, salutations to you. Aisha said, salutations, greetings, to him, and Allah's mercy and blessings be on him. And addressing the Prophet she said, you see what I don't see. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Allah's apostle asked Gabriel, why don't you visit us more often than you do? Then the following holy verse was revealed, in this respect, and we, angels, descend not but by the order of your Lord. To him belong what is before us and what is behind us, and what is between those two, and your Lord was never forgetful. 19.64 Narrated Ibn Abbas, Allah's apostle said, Gabriel read the Quran to me in one way, that is dialect, and I continued asking him to read it in different ways till he read it in 7 different ways. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Allah's apostle was the most generous of all the people, and he used to be more generous in the month of Ramadan when Gabriel used to meet him. Gabriel used to meet him every night in Ramadan to study the Holy Quran carefully together. Allah's apostle used to become more generous than the fast wind when he met Gabriel. Narrated Ibn Shihab, once Umar bin Abdulaziz delayed the Asr prayer a little. Umar said to him, Gabriel descended and led the prayer in front of the Prophet. On that Umar said, O Umar, be sure of what you say. Umar, I heard Bashar bin Abi Mas'ud narrating from Ibn Mas'ud, who heard Allah's apostle saying, Gabriel descended and led me in prayer, and then prayed with him again, 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 counting with his fingers 5 prayers. Narrated Abu Dar, the Prophet said, Gabriel said to me, whoever amongst your followers die without having worshipped others besides Allah, will enter paradise, or will not enter the hellfire. The Prophet asked, even if he has committed illegal sexual intercourse or theft? He replied, even then. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, angels keep on descending from and ascending to the heaven in turn, some at night and some by daytime, and all of them assemble together at the time of the Fajr and Asr prayers. Then those who have stayed with you overnight, ascend unto Allah who asks them. And he knows the answer better than they, how have you left my slaves? They reply, we have left them praying as we found them praying. If any one of you says Ameen, during the prayer at the end of the recitation of Surat al-Fatiha, and the angels in heaven say the same, and the two sayings coincide, all his past sins will be forgiven. Narrated Aisha, I stuffed for the Prophet a pillow decorated with pictures of animals, which looked like a namruka, that is a small cushion. He came and stood among the people with excitement apparent on his face. I said, O Allah's apostle, what is wrong? He said, what is this pillow? I said, I have prepared this pillow for you, so that you may recline on it. He said, don't you know that angels do not enter a house wherein there are pictures, and whoever makes a picture will be punished on the day of resurrection and will be asked to give life to what he has created. Narrated Abu Talha, I heard Allah's apostle saying, angels of mercy do not enter a house wherein there is a dog or a picture of a living creature, a human being or an animal. Narrated Busr bin said, that Zayd bin Khalid al-Juhani narrated to him something in the presence of Said bin Ubaydullah al-Qawlani, who was brought up in the house of Maymunah, the wife of the Prophet. Zayd narrated to them that Abu Talha said that the Prophet said, the angels of mercy do not enter a house wherein there is a picture. Busr said, later on Zayd bin Khalid fell ill and we called on him. To our surprise we saw a curtain decorated with pictures in his house. I said to Ubaydullah al-Qawlani, didn't he, that is Zayd, tell us about their prohibition of pictures? He said, but he accepted the embroidery on garments. Didn't you hear him? I said, no. He said, yes, he did. Narrated Salim's father, once Gabriel promised the Prophet that he would visit him, but Gabriel did not come, and later on he said, we, angels, do not enter a house which contains a picture or a dog. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, when the Imam, during the prayer, says, Allah hears him who praises him, say, O Allah, our Lord, all the praises are for you for if the saying of any one of you coincides with the saying of the angels, his past sins will be forgiven. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, as long as any one of you is waiting for the prayer, he is considered to be praying actually, and the angels say, O Allah, be merciful to him and forgive him, and go on saying so, unless he leaves his place of praying or passes wind, that is breaks his ablution. Narrated Yali, I heard the Prophet reciting the following verse on the pulpit, they will call, O Mali. And Sufyan said that Abdullah recited it, they will call, O Mali. 43.77 Narrated Aisha, that she asked the Prophet, have you encountered a day harder than the day of the battle of Uhud? The Prophet replied, your tribes have troubled me a lot, and the worst trouble was the trouble on the day of Aqaba when I presented myself to Ibn Abdillah bin Abdkul and he did not respond to my demand. So I departed, overwhelmed with excessive sorrow, and proceeded on, and could not relax till I found myself at Kainath Thalib, where I lifted my head towards the sky to see a cloud shading me unexpectedly. I looked up and saw Gabriel in it. He called me saying, Allah has heard your people's saying to you, and what they have replied back to you. Allah has sent the angel of the mountains to you so that you may order him to do whatever you wish to these people. The angel of the mountains called and greeted me, and then said, O Muhammad, order what you wish. If you like, I will let Al-Shabain, that is 2 mountains, fall on them. The Prophet said, no, but I hope that Allah will let them beget children who will worship Allah alone, and will worship none besides him. Narrated Abu Ishaq ash-Shaybani, I asked Zar bin Hubaysh regarding the statement of Allah, and was at a distance of but 2 bow lengths or, even, nearer, so did Allah convey the inspiration to his slave, Gabriel, and then he, Gabriel, conveyed that to Muhammad. 53.910 On that, Zar said, Ibn Mas'ud informed us that the Prophet had seen Gabriel having 600 wings. Narrated Abdullah, regarding the verse, indeed he, Muhammad, did see of the signs of his Lord, the greatest. 53.18 That the Prophet had seen a green carpet spread all over the horizon of the sky. Narrated Aisha, whoever claimed that the Prophet, Muhammad, saw his Lord, is committing a great fault, for he only saw Gabriel in his genuine shape in which he was created, covering the whole horizon. Narrated Masruq, I asked Aisha what about his statement: then he, Gabriel, approached and came closer, and was at a distance of but 2 bow lengths or, even, nearer. 53.89 She replied, it was Gabriel who used to come to the Prophet in the figure of a man, but on that occasion, he came in his actual and real figure, and he was so huge that he covered the whole horizon. Narrated Samura, the Prophet said, last night I saw, in a dream, 2 men coming to me. One of them said, "The person who kindles the fire is Malik, the gatekeeper of the Hellfire, and I am Gabriel, and this is Michael." Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "If a husband calls his wife to his bed, that is to have sexual relation, and she refuses and causes him to sleep in anger, the angels will curse her till morning." Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, that he heard the Prophet saying, "The divine inspiration was delayed for a short period, but suddenly, as I was walking, I heard a voice in the sky, and when I looked up towards the sky, to my surprise, I saw the angel who had come to me in the Hira cave, and he was sitting on a chair in between the sky and the earth. I was so frightened by him that I fell on the ground and came to my family and said to them, 'Cover me with a blanket, govern me.' Then Allah sent the revelation, 'Oh, you wrapped up in a blanket. Arise and warn. And your Lord magnify and keep pure your garments, and desert the idols.'" 74.15 Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, "On the night of my ascent to the heaven, I saw Moses, who was a tall brown curly-haired man as if he was one of the men of Shanawa tribe, and I saw Jesus, a man of medium height and moderate complexion, inclined to the red and white colors and of lank hair. I also saw Malik, the gatekeeper of the Hellfire, and Adajjal amongst the signs which Allah showed me." The Prophet then recited the holy verse, "So be not you in doubt of meeting him when you met Moses during the night of Miraj over the heavens." 32.23 Narrated Anas and Abu Bakr, the Prophet said, "The angels will guard Medina from Adajjal, who will not be able to enter the city of Medina." Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, Allah's apostle said, "When any one of you dies, he will be shown his destination both in the morning and in the evening, and if he belongs to the people of paradise, he will be shown his place in paradise, and if he is from the people of hell, he will be shown his place in hell." Narrated Imran bin Hussein, the Prophet said, "I looked at paradise and found poor people forming the majority of its inhabitants, and I looked at hell and saw that the majority of its inhabitants were women." Narrated Abu Hurairah, while we were in the company of the Prophet, he said, "While I was asleep, I saw myself in paradise, and there I beheld a woman making ablution beside a palace. I asked, 'To whom does this palace belong?' They said, 'To Umar bin al-Khattab.' Then I remembered Umar's ghera concerning women, and so I quickly went away from that palace." When Umar heard this from the Prophet, he wept and said, "Do you think it is likely that I feel ghera because of you, O Allah's apostle?" Narrated Abdullah bin Qais al-Ashari, the Prophet said, "A tent in paradise is like a hollow pearl which is 30 miles in height, and on every corner of the tent the believer will have a family that cannot be seen by the others." Narrated Abu Imran in another narration, "The tent is 60 miles in height." Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, Allah said, "I have prepared for my pious slaves things which have never been seen by an eye, or heard by an ear, or imagined by a human being. If you wish, you can recite this verse from the Holy Quran: "No soul knows what is kept hidden for them, of joy as a reward for what they used to do." 32.17 Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "The first group of people who will enter paradise will be glittering like the moon when it is full. They will not spit or blow their noses or relieve nature. Their utensils will be of gold and their combs of gold and silver. In their centers the aloe wood will be used, and their sweat will smell like musk. Every one of them will have 2 wives. The marrow of the bones of the wives' legs will be seen through the flesh out of excessive beauty. They, that is the people of paradise, will neither have differences nor hatred amongst themselves. Their hearts will be as if one heart, and they will be glorifying Allah in the morning and in the evening." Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "The first batch of people who will enter paradise will be glittering like a full moon, and those who will enter next will be glittering like the brightest star. Their hearts will be as if the heart of a single man, for they will have no enmity amongst themselves, and every one of them shall have 2 wives, each of whom will be so beautiful, pure and transparent that the marrow of the bones of their legs will be seen through the flesh. They will be glorifying Allah in the morning and evening, and will never fall ill, and they will neither blow their noses, nor spit. Their utensils will be of gold and silver, and their combs will be of gold, and the fuel used in their centers will be the aloes wood, and their sweat will smell like musk. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd, the Prophet said, Verily, 70,000 or 700,000 of my followers will enter paradise altogether, so that the first and the last amongst them will enter at the same time, and their faces will be glittering like the bright full moon. Narrated Anas bin Malik, a silken cloak was presented to the Prophet and he used to forbid the usage of silk by men. When the people were fascinated by the cloak, he said, By Allah in whose hands the life of Muhammad is, the handkerchiefs of Sa'd bin Mu'adh in paradise are better than this. Narrated Al-Bara bin Azib, Allah's apostle was given a silken garment, and its beauty and delicacy astonished the people. On that, Allah's apostle said, No doubt, the handkerchiefs of Sa'd bin Mu'adh in paradise are better than this. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd al-Sa'idi, Allah's apostle said, A place in paradise equal to the size of a lash is better than the whole world and whatever is in it. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet said, There is a tree in paradise, which is so big and huge that, if a rider travels in its shade for 100 years, he would not be able to cross it. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said there is a tree in paradise, which is so big and huge that, a rider could travel in its shade for 100 years. And if you wish, you can recite in shade long extended. 56. 30. And a place in paradise equal to an arrow bow of one of you, is better than the whole earth, on which the sun rises and sets. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, The first batch of people who will enter paradise will be glittering like the full moon, and the batch next to them will be glittering like the most brilliant star in the sky. Their hearts will be as if the heart of a single man, for they will have neither enmity nor jealousy amongst themselves. Everyone will have 2 wives from the Houris, who will be so beautiful, pure and transparent that the marrow of the bones of their legs will be seen through the bones and the flesh. Narrated Al-Bara bin Azib, the Prophet, after the death of his son Ibrahim, said, There is a wet nurse for him, that is Ibrahim, in paradise. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the Prophet said, The people of paradise will look at the dwellers of the lofty mansions, that is a superior place in paradise, in the same way as one looks at a brilliant star far away in the east or in the west on the horizon. All that is because of their superiority over one another, in rewards. On that the people said, O Allah's apostle, are these lofty mansions for the prophets which nobody else can reach? The Prophet replied, No. By Allah in whose hands my life is, these are for the men who believed in Allah and also believed in the apostles. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd, the Prophet said, Paradise has 8 gates, and one of them is called Ar-Rayyan, through which none will enter but those who observe fasting. The Prophet also said, If a person spends 2 different kinds of something, for Allah's cause, he will be called from the gates of paradise. Narrated Abu Dar, while the Prophet was on a journey, he said, regarding the performance of the Zuhr prayer, Wait till it, that is the weather, gets cooler. He said the same again till the shade of the hillocks extended. Then he said, Delay the Zuhr prayer till it gets cooler, for the severity of heat is from the increase in heat of hell, fire. Narrated Abu Sa'd, the Prophet said, Delay the Zuhr prayer till it gets cooler, for tea? Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, There, hell, fire complained to its Lord saying, O my Lord, my different parts eat up each other. So, he allowed it to take 2 breaths, one in the winter and the other in summer, and this is the reason for the severe heat and the bitter cold you find in weather. Narrated Abu Jamra ad-Dabi, I used to sit with Ibn Abbas in Mecca. Once I had a fever and he said to me, Cool your fever with Zamzam water, for Allah's apostle said, the fever, is from the heat of the hell, fire, so, cool it with water, or Zamzam water. Narrated Rafi bin Khadij, I heard the Prophet saying, Fever is from the heat of the hell, fire, so cool it with water. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet said, Fever is from the heat of the hell, fire, so cool it with water. Narrated Ibn Umar, The Prophet said, fever is from the heat of the hell fire, so abate fever with water. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Apostle said, your ordinary fire is one of 70 parts of the hell fire. Someone asked, O Allah's Apostle, this ordinary fire would have been sufficient to torture the unbelievers. Allah's Apostle said, their hell fire has 69 parts more than the ordinary worldly fire. Each part is as hot as this worldly fire. Narrated Yali, that he heard the Prophet on the pulpit reciting: they will cry, O Malik. 43.77, Malik is the gatekeeper, angel, of the hell fire. Narrated Abu Wa'il, somebody said to Usama, will you go to so-and-so, that is Uthman, and talk to him, that is advise him regarding ruling the country? He said, you see that I don't talk to him. Really I talk to, advise, him secretly without opening a gate of affliction, for neither do I want to be the first to open it, that is rebellion, nor will I say to a man who is my ruler that he is the best of all the people after I have heard something from Allah's Apostle. They said, what have you heard him saying? He said, I have heard him saying, a man will be brought on the day of resurrection and thrown in there, hell fire, so that his intestines will come out, and he will go around like a donkey goes around a millstone. The people of hell fire will gather around him and say, oh so-and-so, what is wrong with you? Didn't you used to order us to do good deeds and forbid us to do bad deeds? He will reply, yes, I used to order you to do good deeds, but I did not do them myself, and I used to forbid you to do bad deeds, yet I used to do them myself. Narrated Aisha, magic was worked on the Prophet so that he began to fancy that he was doing a thing which he was not actually doing. One day he invoked Allah for a long period and then said, I feel that Allah has inspired me as how to cure myself. 2 persons came to me, in my dream, and sat, one by my head and the other by my feet. One of them asked the other, what is the ailment of this man? The other replied, he has been bewitched. The first asked, who has bewitched him? The other replied, Lubayd bin al-Asam. The first one asked, what material has he used? The other replied, a comb, the hair gathered on it, and the outer skin of the pollen of the male date palm. The first asked, where is that? The other replied, it is in the well of Darwin. So, the Prophet went out towards the well and then returned and said to me on his return, its date palms, the date palms near the well, are like the heads of the devils. I asked, did you take out those things with which the magic was worked? He said, no, for I have been cured by Allah and I am afraid that this action may spread evil amongst the people. Later on the well was filled up with earth. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Apostle said, during your sleep, Satan knots 3 knots at the back of the head of each of you, and he breathes the following words at each knot. The night is long, so keep on sleeping. If that person wakes up and celebrates the praises of Allah, then 1 knot is undone, and when he performs ablution the 2nd knot is undone, and when he prays, all the knots are undone, and he gets up in the morning lively and gay, otherwise he gets up dull and gloomy. Narrated Abdullah, it was mentioned before the Prophet that there was a man who slept the night till morning, after sunrise. The Prophet said, he is a man in whose ears, or ear, Satan had urinated. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, if any one of you, when having sexual relation with his wife, say, in the name of Allah, O Allah, protect us from Satan and prevent Satan from approaching our offspring you are going to give us, and if he begets a child, as a result of that relation, Satan will not harm it. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Apostle said, when their upper edge of the sun appears, in the morning, don't perform a prayer till the sun appears in full, and when the lower edge of the sun sets, don't perform a prayer till it sets completely. And you should not seek to pray at sunrise or sunset, for the sun rises between 2 sides of the head of the devil, or Satan. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, the Prophet said, if while you are praying, somebody intends to pass in front of you, prevent him, and should he insist, prevent him again, and if he insists again, fight with him, that is prevent him violently, for example pushing him violently, because such a person is, like, a devil. Narrated Muhammad bin Sirin, Abu Hurairah said, Allah's apostle put me in charge of a zakat of Ramadan, that is zakat al-fitr. Someone came to me and started scooping some of the foodstuff of zakat with both hands. I caught him and told him that I would take him to Allah's apostle. Then Abu Hurairah told the whole narration and added, he, that is the thief, said, whenever you go to your bed, recite the verse of Al-Kursi, 2.255, for then a guardian from Allah will be guarding you, and Satan will not approach you till dawn. On that the Prophet said, he told you the truth, though he is a liar, and he, the thief, himself was the Satan. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, Satan comes to one of you and says, who created so and so? Till he says, who has created your Lord? So, when he inspires such a question, one should seek refuge with Allah and give up such thoughts. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, when the month of Ramadan comes, the gates of paradise are opened and the gates of the hellfire are closed, and the devils are chained. Narrated Ubay bin Ka'b, that he heard Allah's apostle saying, the Prophet, Moses said to his attendant, bring us our early meal, 18.62. The latter said, did you remember when we betook ourselves to the rock? I indeed forgot the fish and none but Satan made me forget to remember it. 18.63, Moses did not feel tired till he had crossed the place which Allah ordered him to go to. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, I saw Allah's apostle pointing towards the east saying, lo! Afflictions will verily emerge hence, afflictions will verily emerge hence where the side of the head of Satan appears. Narrated Jabir, the Prophet said, when night falls, then keep your children close to you, for the devil spread out then. An hour later you can let them free, and close the gates of your house, at night, and mention Allah's name thereupon, and cover your utensils, and mention Allah's name thereupon, and if you don't have something to cover your utensil, you may put across it something, for example a piece of wood etc. Narrated Safiya bint Huyai, while Allah's apostle was in itikaf, I called on him at night and having had a talk with him, I got up to depart. He got up also to accompany me to my dwelling place, which was then in the house of Usama bin Zayd. Two Ansari men passed by, and when they saw the Prophet they hastened away. The Prophet said to them, don't hurry. It is Safiya, the daughter of Huyai, that is my wife. They said, glorified be Allah. O Allah's apostle! How dare we suspect you? He said, Satan circulates in the human mind as blood circulates in it, and I was afraid that Satan might throw an evil thought, or something, into your hearts. Narrated Sulayman bin Surd, while I was sitting in the company of the Prophet, two men abused each other and the face of one of them became red with anger, and his jugular vein swelled, that is he became furious. On that the Prophet said, I know a word, the saying of which will cause him to relax, if he does say it. If he says, I seek refuge with Allah from Satan, then all his anger will go away. Somebody said to him, the Prophet has said, seek refuge with Allah from Satan. The angry man said, am I mad? Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet said, if any one of you, on having sexual relation with his wife, says, O Allah, protect me from Satan, and prevent Satan from approaching the offspring you are going to give me, and if it happens that the lady conceives a child, Satan will neither harm it nor be given power over it. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet offered a prayer, and, after finishing, he said, Satan came in front of me trying persistently to divert my attention from the prayer, but Allah gave me the strength to overpower him. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, when the call for the prayer is pronounced, Satan takes to his heels, passing wind with noise. When the call for the prayer is finished, he comes back. And when the Iqamah is pronounced, he again takes to his heels, and after its completion, he returns again to interfere between their praying person and his heart, saying to him, remember this or that thing. Till the person forgets whether he has offered 3 or 4 rakat, so if one forgets whether he has prayed 3 or 4 rakat, he he should perform 2 prostrations of su'u, that is forgetfulness. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, when any human being is born, Satan touches him at both sides of the body with his 2 fingers, except Jesus, the son of Mary, whom Satan tried to touch but failed, for he touched the placenta cover instead. Narrated Al-Qama, I went to Sham, and asked, who is here? The people said, Abu Darda. Abu Darda said, is the person whom Allah has protected against Satan, as Allah's apostle said, amongst you. The sub-narrator, Mughira, said that the person who was given Allah's refuge through the tongue of the Prophet was Amma bin Yazir. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet said, while the angels talk amidst the clouds about things that are going to happen on earth, the devils hear a word of what they say and pour it in the ears of a soothsayer as one pours something in a bottle, and they add 100 lies to that one word. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, yawning is from Satan, and if any one of you yawns, he should check his yawning as much as possible, for if any one of you, during the act of yawning, should say, ha, Satan will laugh at him. Narrated Aisha, on the day of the battle of Uhud, when the pagans were defeated, Satan shouted, O slaves of Allah! Beware of the forces at your back, and on that the Muslims of the front files fought with the Muslims of the back files, thinking they were pagans. Hudayfa looked back to see his father Al-Yaman being attacked by the Muslims. He shouted, O Allah's slaves! My father! My father! By Allah, they did not stop till they killed him. Hudayfa said, May Allah forgive you. Urwa said that Hudayfa continued to do good, invoking Allah to forgive the killer of his father till he met Allah, that is died. Narrated Aisha, I asked the Prophet about one's looking here and there during the prayer. He replied, it is what Satan steals from the prayer of any one of you. Narrated Abu Qatada, as below, that is Hadith number 513. Narrated Abu Qatada, the Prophet said, a good dream is from Allah, and a bad or evil dream is from Satan. So if any one of you has a bad dream of which he gets afraid, he should spit on his left side and should seek refuge with Allah from its evil, for then it will not harm him. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, if one says 100 times in one day, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, the alone who has no partners, to him belongs dominion and to him belong all the praises, and he has power over all things, that is omnipotent. One will get the reward of manumitting 10 slaves, and 100 good deeds will be written in his account, and 100 bad deeds will be wiped off or erased from his account, and on that day he will be protected from the morning till evening from Satan, and nobody will be superior to him except one who has done more than that which he has done. Narrated Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, once Ammar asked the leave to see Allah's apostle, in whose company there were some Qurayshi women who were talking to him and asking him for more financial support, raising their voices. When Ammar asked permission to enter, the women got up, quickly, hurrying to screen themselves. When Allah's apostle admitted Ammar, Allah's apostle was smiling. Ammar asked, O Allah's apostle, may Allah keep you gay always? Allah's apostle said, I am astonished at these women who are with me. As soon as they heard your voice, they hastened to screen themselves. Ammar said, O Allah's apostle, you have more right to be feared by them. Then he addressed those women, saying, O eyes of your own souls, do you fear me and not Allah's apostle? They replied, yes, for you are a fearful and fierce man as compared with Allah's apostle. On that Allah's apostle said to Ammar, by him in whose hands my life is, whenever Satan sees you taking a path, he follows a path other than yours. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, if any one of you rouses from sleep and performs the ablution, he should wash his nose by putting water in it and then blowing it out thrice, because Satan has stayed in the upper part of his nose all the night. Narrated Abdurrahman bin Abdullah bin Abdurrahman bin Abi Saza Ansari, that Abu Said al-Qadri said to his father, I see you are fond of sheep and the desert, so when you want to pronounce the adhan, raise your voice with it, for whoever will hear the adhan, whether a human being, or a jinn, or anything else, will bear witness, in favor on the day of resurrection. Abu Said added, I have heard this from Allah's apostle. Narrated Ibn Ammar, that he heard the Prophet delivering a sermon on the pulpit saying, "Kill snakes," and killed Huatafaitain, that is a snake with 2 white lines on its back, and albatros, that is a snake with short or mutilated tail, for they destroy the sight of one's eyes and bring about abortion. Abdullah bin Amr further added, "Once while I was chasing a snake in order to kill it, Abu Lubaba called me saying, 'Don't kill it.' I said, 'Allah's apostle ordered us to kill snakes.' He said, but later on he prohibited the killing of snakes living in the houses. As Zubri said, such snakes are called alawamia. Narrated Abu Said al-Khudri, Allah's apostle said, there will come a time when the best property of a man will be sheep which he will graze on the tops of mountains and the places where rain falls, that is pastures, escaping to protect his religion from afflictions. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, the main source of disbelief is in the east. Pride and arrogance are characteristics of the owners of horses and camels, and those Bedouins who are busy with their camels and pay no attention to religion, while modesty and gentleness are the characteristics of the owners of sheep. Narrated Uqba bin Ammar and Abu Mas'ud, Allah's apostle pointed with his hand towards Yemen and said, true belief is Yemenite yonder, that is the Yemenite, had true belief and embraced Islam readily, but sternness and mercilessness are the qualities of those who are busy with their camels and pay no attention to the religion where the 2 sides of the head of Satan will appear. Such qualities belong to the tribe of Rabi'u and Muda. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, when you hear the crowing of cocks, ask for Allah's blessings, for their crowing indicates that they have seen an angel. And when you hear the braying of donkeys, seek refuge with Allah from Satan, for their braying indicates that they have seen a Satan. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, a group of Israelites were lost. Nobody knows what they did. But I do not see them except that they were cursed and changed into rats, for if you put the milk of a she-camel in front of a rat, it will not drink it, but if the milk of a sheep is put in front of it, it will drink it. I told this to Kab, who asked me, did you hear it from the Prophet? I said, yes. Kab asked me the same question several times. I said to Kab, do I read the Torah? That is, I tell you this from the Prophet. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet called the salamander a mischief doer. I have not heard him ordering that it should be killed. Sa'd bin Waqqas claims that the Prophet ordered that it should be killed. Narrated Sharik, that the Prophet ordered her to kill salamanders. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet said, kill the snake with 2 white lines on its back, for it blinds the onlooker and causes abortion. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet ordered that a short-tailed or mutilated-tailed snake, that is Abta, should be killed, for it blinds the onlooker and causes abortion. Narrated Abu Malaika, Ibn Ammar used to kill snakes, but afterwards he forbade their killing and said, once the Prophet pulled down a wall and saw a cast-off skin of a snake in it. He said, look for the snake. They found it and the Prophet said, kill it. For this reason I used to kill snakes. Later on I met Abu Lubaba, who told me the Prophet said, do not kill snakes except the short-tailed or mutilated-tailed snake with 2 white lines on its back, for it causes abortion and makes one blind. So kill it. Narrated Nafi, Ibn Ammar used to kill snakes, but when Abu Lubaba informed him that the Prophet had forbidden the killing of snakes living in houses, he gave up killing them. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet said, 5 kinds of animals are mischief doers and can be killed even in the sanctuary. They are the rat, the scorpion, the kite, the crow and the rabid dog. Narrated Abdullah bin Ammar, Allah's apostle said, it is not sinful of a person in the state of ihram to kill any of these 5 animals, the scorpion, the rat, the rabid dog, the crow and the kite. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, the Prophet said, cover your utensils and tie your water skins, and close your doors and keep your children close to you at night, as the jinns spread out at such time and snatch things away. When you go to bed, put out your lights, for the mischief doer, that is the rat, may drag away the wick of the candle and burn the dwellers of the house. Atta said, the devils, instead of the jinns. Narrated Abdullah, once we were in the company of Allah's apostle in a cave. Surat al-Musalat, 77, was revealed there, and we were learning it from Allah's apostle. Suddenly a snake came out of its hole and we rushed towards it to kill it, but it hastened and entered its hole before we were able to catch it. Allah's apostle said, "It has been saved from your evil and you have been saved from its evil." Narrated Ibn Umar, the Prophet said, "A woman entered the Hellfire because of a cat." Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "Once while a prophet amongst the prophets was taking a rest underneath a tree, an ant bit him. He, therefore, ordered that his luggage be taken away from underneath that tree and then ordered that the dwelling place of the ants should be set on fire. Allah sent him a revelation: wouldn't it have been sufficient to burn a single ant that bit you?" See page 162, chapter number 153. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, "If a housefly falls in the drink of any one of you, he should dip it in the drink, for one of its wings has a disease and the other has the cure for the disease." Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "A prostitute was forgiven by Allah, because, passing by a panting dog near a well and seeing that the dog was about to die of thirst, she took off her shoe, and tying it with her head cover she drew out some water for it. So, Allah forgave her because of that." Narrated Abu Talha, the Prophet said, "Angels do not enter a house which has either a dog or a picture in it." Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, Allah's apostle ordered that the dogs should be killed. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, "If somebody keeps a dog, he loses 1 qirat of the reward of his good deeds every day, except if he keeps it for the purpose of agriculture or for the protection of livestock." Narrated Sufyan bin Abi Zuhair ash-Shami, that he heard Allah's apostle saying, "If somebody keeps a dog that is neither used for farm work nor for guarding the livestock, he will lose 1 qirat of the reward of his good deeds every day."